Hampshire College had been using an alternative water capture system at the RW Kern Center to cut down on waste and be more green. But now the Massachusetts Department of Public Health has said the water doesn't meet its specifications. I sat down with Hampshire College student Oliver Silberstein, Sara Draper, Kern Center Director of Outreach, and Jonathan Wright of Wright Builders, who worked on the project, to find out more. Full disclosure, Wright Builders underwrites programming on New England Public Media. I began our discussion by asking Sara Draper to explain the concept of net zero water, which is a goal of its water system.
I'm sure people are probably a little bit more familiar with this idea of net zero energy. Net zero water is very similar. It's this idea that all the water that we use in the building, we are getting from within our site, and any water that we do use in the building returns back to that site. So we're kind of just inserting a building into the natural water cycle. Well, rain would fall, it would go into the ground, and in the middle, we're putting our building.
There it is. Great. And so, Jonathan, you were involved in the construction of this beautiful 17,000 square foot facility on the campus at Hampshire College. Why is net zero water important for the building?
Yeah, it's a great question, because here in New England, we have, in this region, 44 inches of rain a year. We have plenty of water, we think. But the worldwide, 70% of the population does not have access to drinking water and treatment of drinking water. And those who do, the average consumption is less than we use in 2 hours in New England. So we have an abundant resource, but the Living Building Challenge really is an international standard. It's like, where do we need to get? And we have an abundance of water, but actually about 90% of the water that we use is used to move human waste to the treatment plant.
When you flush your toilet, it helps.
And when it goes there, they have to clean it. And they clean it with chlorine. And it goes into the river. And then it is taken out again to be used as drinking water again. It's not what you would, today design as a perfect engineered system. It's what grew out of the 19th century. So the less water that goes down into that system, the better from this perspective.
And at the Kern Center, one of the reasons that, Oliver, you're here with us today is you're studying the way that the water system works at Kern. Currently, the system that was designed with the building is offline. It's not allowed to be used right now because the state has said that the levels of bacteria in the water doesn't meet the drinking water standards. And that's an oversimplification of what's going on here. But for the sake of the discussion, that's sort of how I'm framing it. When you, what was your interest in the water system at the Kern Center?
So I actually started working for the Kern Center before I started studying the water system. But as I started working there, Sara introduced me to the whole, basically the narrative around what had happened, and I became inspired to take on research on how we could get to a point where we could use our rainwater as drinking water without the use of chlorine.
Because the system had been working and functioning there. The building opened in 2016, if I recall correctly. Yeah. It was functioning with meeting DEP standards for some time, but then there was a question about a certain bacteria that was in the water and the levels at which it was in there. Because the way the system's designed to work, again, as I understand it, is using UV light instead of chlorine. Why UV light? What's it doing?
So it's treating at one point. It's treating for total bacteria. And after the treatment with UV light, it's not continuing to treat the water, whereas chlorine disinfection will continue to treat the water as it passes through the system. But the UV light will treat it while it's being affected by the light.
And Jonathan, one of the things that I was just fascinated by is that Kern Center is 17,000 square feet, right? Did I read correctly that the building uses about, or maybe a little less than 100 gallons of water a day?
That's right.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, isn't that amazing? And that includes the coffee. Really good coffee, by the way. Nothing like espresso, any time of the day or night. So there's basically hand washing, making coffee, a little plant watering, but most of the plant watering is the gray water from that waste that's treated. So that's part of the waste system.
Because part of the living building is there are plants throughout the interior of the building.
Right. Well, they have a purpose. They're not decorative. They're taking up those nutrients from the wastewater and transpiring moisture into the air, so for health. And then they're going around through that and eventually get treated outdoors if there's any leftover. There's not much leftover. And the main reason is that there's no flush toilets.
Yeah.
And that comes back to the earlier point we were talking about.
And so, Sara, because of that very little water usage, was that sort of driving the problem that you found with that bacteria coming into the water? If it's not if you're finding that there's very little coming in from the rain, and then it's treated with the UV light that doesn't exist, but then that bacteria is coming from somewhere, is it because there's not a lot of water moving through those pipes?
Yeah, so part of the problem that we are encountering is just exactly that, the lack of water moving through the pipes, especially because it's a campus building. It's open during the day. It's not open during the evening. Over the summer, it gets a lot less usage, not on the weekends. So there is time when water is just sitting in the pipe. And to your point, any bacteria that does make its way in, even if it's just a few little bacteria lurking in there, it has a chance to regrow without that presence of a chlorine residual like Oliver was talking about.
Yeah, it's in a perfect environment, right? It's dark and it can
Right,
just
it's
kind
dark,
of do its
kind of
murky
room
little thing.
temperature.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's been hanging out in the basement at 60 degrees.
It is optimal temperature for that bacterial growth.
Right.
And after it's grown that one time, it's more likely to grow in the future because it's created somewhat of a biofilm on the inside of the pipe.
So it knows that this is its ideal environment.
Right. It has all its friends to grow with.
Yeah, so there's a whole community.
Yeah.
It's a party. Chlorine in drinking water is a very common thing, and the levels of chlorination sort of vary. Sometimes, you can turn on the tap and you can even smell chlorine, not so pleasant. But it has become kind of the acceptable standard for the way that we treat our drinking water. But Oliver, as I understand it, and I don't know if there was research you started, but something you've become aware of based on a summary I read, is that there are other countries who UV treat or don't use chlorine all that often. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there are actually even countries that don't even use UV treatment. Most of these countries are using it for residential systems, but for instance, in Australia, where there's unbelievable water shortage, are much greater than in the United States. Many of the residences, over 50% in Southeast Australia, actually are using tank rainwater. So are using rainwater that just falls on their roof and as drinking water without any treatment. And those systems, for the most part, are much more rudimentary and by United States standards wouldn't be safe. But we're seeing that school children that are drinking it aren't facing consequences of stomach
Getting
illness.
sick,
Yeah,
right?
getting sick,
Yeah.
basically.
Sarah, do you know, I know DEP, the system right now is offline. You're using municipal water as following the state guidelines that are agreed to between Hampshire and the state. Do you know if people were getting sick when the rainwater catch system was being used?
There is no evidence that anyone was getting sick or that there were any issues related to it. And that's part of what we've been looking into, and part of the research that Oliver has been doing is what is the correlation between the requirements we need to meet from the DEP as a public rainwater source and any public health outcomes. Because the testing that we do, for the most part, we know that there are bacteria in the building, but we don't know much about them. We don't know if they're good bacteria or bad bacteria, like maybe we're making kombucha in the building, I don't know. So there's not a direct correlation between that bacteria and any negative public health outcomes, and that's definitely not something that we've seen in the building.
And one of the ways that Hampshire is working to possibly address this, as I understand it, is a recirculation system has been developed. DEP's reviewing that right now, right?
Yes, so we have developed, with the help of a local engineering firm, Ty & Bond, a plan to recirculate water in the building. So right now, water goes through the treatment train and then goes to the tap so you can wash your hands. In that recirculation system, there would be basically secondary pipes going through the building so that water could be periodically recirculated back through treatment, and that would help us both constantly knock down bacteria levels and reduce any stagnation from water just sitting in the pipes.
And do you have any sense at this point of when DEP will make its decision, or what's that back and forth been like?
I would love to know that timeline. Regulatory timeline is
It's a little tricky sometimes.
It's different than any other timeline. They have a lot of things on their plate at any given time. So right now, where we stand is we have submitted an initial proposal. They gave us some comments back to say, this seems like a reasonable idea. Here's some stuff we'd like you to add or make more clear. And we've volleyed that back to them. So we're now in that stage.
So rainwater is an interesting product because we think of water needing to be purified because most of the water that we drink municipally is ground reservoirs. And roof water is already very clean. It's never been through the woods and through a lake and been swum in by beavers. And so the water that was collected during the construction period looked like Crater Lake after 3 months of just sitting in the tanks. So the water's already clear when it comes out of the sky. It's what happens to it after that.